And this is video sent to CBC News by Sally Aitken. It was shot yesterday as she and her husband fled wildfires in BC's Chilcotin country. Swaths of the interior are burning amid hot, dry conditions. Flames and heavy smoke are driving people from their homes and also closing off many roads. And Sally Aitken can help us with this story from a couple of perspectives. She not only fled the dangerous scene, she is also an associate dean with UBC's Faculty of Forestry. And Sally Aitken made it to Kamloops and then Vancouver, where we've reached her now. So, Sally, wow, I mean, those pictures that you shot are just unbelievable. What was it like driving through that?
Well, it's one thing to see a forest fire from the outside, from the exterior, but to be really in the middle of one was really a very different experience.
And can you tell us about that? What was it like?
So it was very dark. That was the biggest surprise, is all of a sudden we just entered blackness, and the smoke was so thick, there was no visibility. It was, except we could still see flames on the sides, and the air was very smoky, and it was fairly warm, but we were watching the temperature quite closely, and it never got too hot.
So you were, I mean, I remember hearing you say to your husband, right, who was driving, I guess. I remember saying, I would drive fast through this, but yeah. Wasn't that kind of challenging to drive fast when you couldn't really see properly?
Yeah, it was very challenging, and I don't think he needed me to say that.
Yeah,
he was doing a great job getting us through there as fast as possible, balancing off the fire risk with the visibility. So I was focused not on trying to capture this on video, but trying to help him look for obstacles in case any obstacles were on the road.
I mean, you know, we see the flames, they are so close to the road, right? I mean, you must have been concerned that they would jump the road at some point.
Yeah, well, they were on either side of the road. So the fire had breached the road, but we were on the asphalt, and, you know, that was 2 lanes wide. So we were going down the middle of that, and so I think it looks worse than it was, although it was definitely frightening. It was, you know, we didn't feel extreme heat. And I think as long as the car didn't break down, we were okay.
And so tell me, what's interesting is that you've got some expertise in all of this, right, in terms of forest fires. So can you talk to us about that and why? Because, you know, it seems like just a few weeks ago we were talking about the flooding and we were talking about just how wet this part of the province was.
Yes. So in fact, we were on vacation in the west part of the Chilcotin, and we had decided to go out to our cabin earlier than usual to avoid fire season. So that tells you how unusual this is. Usually, if we get big fires, it's not until the end of July or into August, and this fire season came up very quickly. So we had a wet spring. And there's been a lot of vegetative growth, so a lot of grass and shrubs and things growing, and created a lot of fuel. And then our temperatures went up. We had unusually warm weather, and out in the area we were in, there hasn't been rain for probably at least 6 weeks. So it created the perfect conditions. You've got warm, dry weather, lots of fuel, and then winds came up as well. And I think that's what was really driving the behavior of the fire that we went through, that flared up on a road that was still open to passage, technically.
So as we were watching this video, how long did it take you to drive through that? You know, with what were the most harrowing, I guess you could say, of that section, like?
So it's hard to judge because in those situations your perceptions get changed. But I think it was about 10 minutes that we were in that black cloud, and then we saw the glow at the other end, and we were hoping that was daylight and not a worse fire. And in fact, we were coming out the other side. So we basically drove from the back end of the fire to the front edge. And if you were coming the other way, you would have seen how severe a fire it was. But from the back, you could not see that.
So just finally, what do you think can be done to help curb or prevent the spread of these fires?
Yeah. So I think there's a number of things there. First of all, earlier and more intense fire seasons are what we expect with climate change. And so we need to do all we can to reduce emissions, reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We also need to reduce the fuel loads out in forests and especially near communities. So that might mean burning, controlled burning, as well as manual clearing. We need to be very aware of all of these things. And I think first and foremost, we need to think about all the people that have been so impacted by these catastrophic conditions, and really commend all the emergency workers, emergency system, and the firefighters for trying to keep everybody safe, and for people following the requests of those agencies.
Well, Sally, we're happy that you and your husband are safe. Thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
That was Sally Aitken in Vancouver. She's with UBC's Faculty of Forestry.